Previously on.
Oh, I missed it.
Yes.
It's your average day. You wake up, take a shower, and get ready for work. As you're preparing breakfast, you turn on the TV and catch the morning news. Good morning. This is Fox 11 News. It's 6:38 a.m., August the 24th. We have breaking news this morning. A train has run off the tracks near the intersection of Holly Street and Grand Avenue. Apparently, a semi-truck was attempting to cross the tracks while traveling eastbound on Grand when suddenly the driver's engine stalled. A nearby pedestrian got out of his car in hopes to assist the truck but was too late to the scene. Just seconds later, a train traveling at top speed struck the semi, causing the train to derail. The driver of the truck and the pedestrian were killed instantly. The train then went on to oncoming traffic, killing 12 and injuring 3.
I thought we were supposed to get wider.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. In horror, you shut off the TV, grab your keys, and head to work. However, life goes on, and by lunch, you forget all about the lives lost that very morning. Did you hear about the kid that got hit by the crossfire in that robbery yesterday? You hear from behind you. A coworker comes up from behind you, placing his lunch tray on the table and taking a seat next to you. No, I guess I missed that one, you reply. Yeah, 2 teenagers tried to rob the liquor store on Main Street around 11 a.m. yesterday, and things turned for the worse. The owner pulled a gun and the 2 kids lit him up. Apparently one of the shots went out the front window of the store and hit some kid walking by. He died sometime after that in the hospital. You instantly turn pale and sink in your seat. You and your 2 sons were directly across the street from the liquor store just 30 minutes earlier yesterday having breakfast. A half hour later, and that could have been one of your boys. Suddenly the familiar feeling of remorse reminds you of the train incident this morning. So many bad things happening to good people. These things happen. That's just part of life, you remind yourself. But this reminder to yourself, attempting to make sense of or find peace, doesn't make it any easier to accept. But once again, you attempt to shrug it off and go about your day. You go home to your family that night with a lingering sense of dread. However, the smell of your wife's homemade lasagna when you walk in the door takes your mind off the day's events. I made your favorite, she says, as you put down your briefcase. She greets you with a glass of wine and a kiss on the cheek. And there will be plenty left over for lunch tomorrow. Fantastic, you reply. You and your wife and 2 boys sit down to dinner and enjoy the rest of your evening, and by 11, you're fast asleep. It's morning. You shut off your alarm and make your way downstairs to start the coffee. As you're preparing breakfast, you turn on the TV. Good morning, this is Fox 11 News. It's 6:38 a.m., August the 24th. We have breaking news this morning. A train has run off the tracks near the intersection of Holly Street and Grand Avenue. Apparently a semi-truck was attempting to cross the tracks while traveling eastbound on Grand when suddenly the driver's engine stalled. A nearby pedestrian got out of his car in hopes to assist the truck but was too late to the scene. Just seconds later, a train traveling at top speed struck the semi, causing the train to derail. The driver of the truck and pedestrian were killed instantly. The train then went on to oncoming traffic, killing 12 and injuring 3. You stop what you're doing immediately and look at the TV. How? You say out loud to yourself. Surely this is a mistake. Surely they've accidentally started playing the tape of yesterday's news by accident. Has this ever happened before? Surely. Surely this is a huge mistake on their part. Ha! It'll be all over the news. You turn it off. After all, you've already seen this episode. You finish getting ready for work. You finish getting ready and head to work. Fast forward, it's 12:30, time for lunch. As you take your usual seat by the window, you're suddenly filled with excitement remembering that your wife packed leftover lasagna for your lunch. As you unzip your lunch bag, you hear a familiar voice approaching from behind. Did you hear about that kid that got hit by the crossfire in the robbery yesterday? What? You reply. The robbery downtown, he says. You didn't hear? No. I guess I missed that one. Yeah, 2 teenagers tried to rob the liquor store on Main Street around 11 a.m. yesterday, and things turned for the worse. The owner pulled a gun, and the 2 kids lit him up. Apparently one of the shots went out the front window of the store and hit some kid walking by. He died sometime after that in the hospital, he says. As he finished his story, you're speechless, just staring at him. You okay, man? He says. What's happening to me? You look down at the table, and in your lunchbox is a tuna sandwich. Okay, so to finally touch back on the continuing the episode of The Gray Area, or segment of, what would you call it? Episode?
You call it a
The
segment.
Ramblings of Joshua Logan Roach.
I don't like that as well. I don't like that. It's all just crap that comes out of my brain.
Logan.
So,
you
since-
guys know me?
What's that?
You basically just killed him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot.
Never the movie.
To touch back, since it's been a minute, so where we left off, the guy, or you're basically the listener, are in the story. You woke up and basically your day has started over again. You remember that you get up, you go to work, all the same stuff happens. The guy at the lunch table tells you about the shooting, and all that stuff, and it's all starting to add up. You saw what, that morning, getting ready for work, you saw the same episode of the news. You thought it was funny. You just blew it off, whatever. It's just a coincidence. You get to
Right.
work. The same guy at work tells you the same story he told you the day prior. Then you open your lunchbox, and what was it, lasagna? Well,
It was supposed to be lasagna.
this time, it was a tuna sandwich. I had to emphasize that.
Yeah,
Do you remember that? That was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one thing that changed, okay? That will make sense later, okay? I was going to wrap this up after 2 parts, but I started having fun with it. So this is part 2 of
6.
Probably 3.
maybe
more.
Maybe more.
It was
Okay.
part 2 of
3
12.
plus.
And I made a note in here. First off, make sure they caught on to the tuna sandwich thing. That's going to be significant later on. Okay.
Tuna fish.
And this is going to take a different direction than the last segment of the gray area. This is going to be a create your own adventure type. This segment is going to be a little more, it's going to take a different turn. Like, it's going to be a create your own adventure. And the listeners are going to get to take part. They're going to choose
Really?
the next step we take via social media. So any listeners that follow us on socials, we're going to have a poll. Okay, at the end of this, I'll give you 2 options, and you guys are going to decide where the story goes. And from that point, we will write accordingly.
That's
good-
neat.
So
That's a good
this is your
idea.
guys' option. This is your guys'
Opportunity.
opportunity. That's the word. Thank you.
You get to do stuff.
Yeah, you guys get to tell the story. I'm going to write it, obviously, but you guys are going to guide us through and make the decisions. So we're going to jump back into it, and then as we go, hopefully the options that you're given become a little more difficult to make. So, like I said, I'm not sure how long this is going to go. It's we're just going to go until it just feels right.
Until everyone's dead.
Yeah, maybe.
Until it feels right.
Or everyone's alive.
You decide.
Yeah, you decide. Next time on the gray area. So we're gonna jump back into it. I'll start off. I'll go right back into where we left off. Well, yeah, the guy says, "You okay, man?" He says, "What you're, you say, what's happening to me?" You look down in your lunchbox, and there's a tuna fish sandwich. Well, the day prior, everything the same happened, except you
Except
look
for-
down, and there was lasagna. Okay, part 2. You look at your friend You look at your friend in a complete state of confusion. "I must be dreaming," you think to yourself. "Dude, you're freaking me out," your friend says. "Sorry, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm going to cut out early." You clock out early, and you start to head home. You make it a few blocks from the building, and suddenly time around you stops. Oh, crap, I touched the screen. Hold on.
Oh, God.
Not to, ruin the mood.
Is that
Okay.
part of the dialogue?
No,
Awesome.
I'm sorry. I'm just not a
That's
professional.
part 2.
You make it a few blocks from the building, and suddenly time around you stops. You slam on your brakes to avoid hitting the car in front of you. Everything is still. You get out of your car, and you can see a flock of birds above you, completely frozen in time. No movement anywhere. Suddenly, you feel dizzy, and in an instant, everything around you goes black. You find yourself no longer standing in the middle of the street, but sitting back in an old recliner. This is where it starts to get really weird in the mind of Roach. That is not part of the story. I'm just letting you guys know.
Disclaimer.
It's going to take a turn. Oh my gosh. Okay. About 8 feet across from you is a black rabbit sitting on a wooden bar stool smoking a cigarette. All right, so I'm going to level with you. We're not sure entirely what happened here, but we're working on it, says the rabbit. You stare dumbfounded at the talking, smoking rabbit sitting across from you. And I'm very aware that my appearance may be a little alarming, to say the least, but I'm doing the best I can with what I've got to work with here. Anyways, I'm going to cut to the chase. There was a glitch in the matrix, so to speak, and we don't really know why. I'm new to the job, so this one's on me. My name is Gary, and I run the show around here. I was assigned to your dimension amongst an endless number of dimensions to make sure things run smoothly. I was recently promoted to Dimensional Overseer of Sector 434, which is where you're from. Basically, I'm the boss of your universe. We ran a few tests on your specific genetic makeup as a whole to try to figure out why you alone weren't affected by our little hiccup, and we came across some startling yet fascinating discoveries. Now, what I'm about to tell you may freak you out a bit. It may even send you into a state of panic, even cause you to react in a way that might be harmful to you and those around you. Quite possibly, that along with the test we already ran on you while you were asleep, cause severe and or irreversible physical and neurological damage, sending you into either a murderous fit of rage or a depressingly incurable vegetative state for the remainder of your sad, lonely life. But I'm sure you'll be fine.
But I'm sure you'll be fine.
So, I assume you've heard of computer viruses. Well, you kind of have one. Seeing as your universe can be altered by the use of our technology, it appears that somehow a virus that would normally only be able to affect our computers has somehow found its way inside your world. And rather than its host being a computer, it's you. My condition, on the other hand, is somewhat rare, but not completely unheard of, or not a completely unheard of occurrence that can be fixed with the aid of a gene tech. You know, like genes, like your genes, what makes up your, you know what I'm saying?
Like Levi's.
Exactly. Unfortunately, ours is on holiday until next week, so I'm stuck as a freaking rabbit until Monday. All right, we're talking about your sad life. So you've got two options, my friend. A, we freeze you, kind of like Han Solo, and wipe your memory of all this to avoid prolonged periods of disturbing behavior consisting of anything from crippling depression to uncurable urges to spend hours a day binge-watching Home Shopping Network in your underwear. Then we try to rid you of this space worm, or computer virus, over a period of several long surgeries, and then reload you back into your world after we fix whatever went wrong, assuming we can do so without destroying everything you once loved. Or B, we attempt to cure you with an experimental procedure only used before on cats and large vermin by sedating you, gently removing all your innards and scrubbing the crap out of them, then injecting you with our attempt at a human digital, then injecting you with our attempt at a human to digital antivirus, then cross our fingers. Oh, and of course, sending you back home with no memory of this. Hey guys, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the podcast and help us out, you can head over to patreon.com/bitesizemammoth. Kind of helps us out month to month, helps us to buy new gear, and so we can keep bringing stuff like this to you. Also, 10% of your donations go to a charity of your choice, so that's pretty cool.
Visit teespring.com and search Bite Size Mammoth to check out some of our shirts, mugs, and some other stuff that we got going on.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Bite Size Mammoth.
So those are the two options.
Yes.
Freeze him and let him do the surgery.
That didn't take as long to read as I thought it would.
No, but that definitely took a hard left. I was not expecting that.
Didn't expect a giant black smoking rabbit.
Yeah, well,
Gonna say.
what led me down this rabbit hole, if you will, is the
There
fact
it
that
is.
you guys thought you had me so figured out, so I had to think hard. And
Did
then all
we
I
have
had to
you
do was
figured
not
out?
go to work for a little bit and then sit up till 3 a.m. and drink coffee. And this is where my mind went. So, Yes.
Please
So-
tell me the rabbit sings at some point.
Hold on. First, before we do that, let's make it really clear what the two options are, because
Yeah.
Yes.
this
Oh, yeah,
is what we're going to be
definitely.
polling, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, these are going to be your two polls, A and B. A, we freeze you and wipe your memory of all this. Let's see. Yeah, then we'll try to. Should I just read through A and B again?
Yeah, sure.
You
that's fine.
think? Okay. A, we freeze you kind of like Han Solo and wipe your memory of all this to oh my gosh. To avoid the periods of disturbing behavior, with the shopping network in your underwear. That could be side effects.
Okay, gotcha.
Then we try to get rid of the computer virus over a period of several. That was an accidental clap. Don't mark that.
Yeah.
Then we try to get rid of the computer virus and put you back in your world. Mm-hmm. So A, we're going to freeze you.
And then if it works out, you
If
go
it
back
works
home.
out, if we can freeze you and do what we got to do to your body to get rid of this over the surgeries, and then also figure out how to fix the hiccup in your world, we'll do that. We'll put you back in your world. You'll take the blue pill, so to speak.
Okay.
Between the red and the blue pill. Any Matrix fans out there?
Except either option, you're not going to remember any of this.
Right. But the choices do significantly
Different things.
yes.
Okay.
Now, your job as the listener is to put yourself, you are in the story. This story is you. And this is a jacked up reality, but it is your reality, and you have to make a decision. Now, you're given options, but given that this situation is so jacked up, you kind of have to use your own judgment. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
It may feel like you're kind of screwed either way.
Yeah, because that's how I feel. But that's
Because I feel like
idle.
But rather than just doing a traditional, well, this one, I don't know,
Yeah.
you've got a pretty good idea for.
So it's like one is frozen.
Yeah, this is
and
going to
your
be.
memory is wiped, and they try to do this experimental thing that they only did on
Well,
cats
no,
and
that was the
small
first
vermin.
one. The first one is going to be, as far as the.
So the first one, do they fix you at all? Because it just sounds like they freeze you, wipe your memory, and stick
Well,
you back in.
Yeah. They'll do the. We'll try to rid you of the computer virus over a period of several long surgeries. Surgeries that have been practiced in the past. Now, obviously, they've never. Well, from the context, they've never had to do a surgery to rid a person
of a digital virus.
of a digital virus.
Yeah, it's
but
only been
that
cats
is going
and
to
small
be
vermin.
surgery. Procedural wise, that's going to be your safer bet. Okay.
Or-
And then option B.
Option B, they attempt to cure you with an experimental procedure. It'll be a quicker procedure, but it's never been used before on humans.
This is the one where cats and small vermin are at.
Oh.
Right.
They scrub your insides.
Right.
Yeah, they clean you out and scrub all the crap off it.
Yeah. It's their first attempt at what he quoted as a human to digital antivirus. This is not something they expected to have to use.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an experimental procedure. Right. So, one side effect I didn't put in. You might remember all this, and things will happen.
It's like, yeah.
So really, this is going to be less of an episode of Twilight Zone and more of a. It's going to have that, Twilight Zone-esque,
Yeah.
feel about it, but it's going to be lean more towards a create your own story.
Which is neat. Yeah.
Create your
It's gonna
own
be-
Twilight Zone.
Right.
Do
It's
you
not
know-
Twilight Zone, my dude.
Yeah. It's
'Cause now the
it's
listener-
gray zone.
Right. So, and as I said, as we get further into the story, the options are going to be, they're going to get more and more difficult. Here, it's like you don't you're gonna forego some sort of procedure. One we have a little more faith in. The other one is experimental. The end result is we're going to try to rid you of this digital virus.
Right.
One is going to
One seems as if it's the same for bet.
Yeah. One's a 30%, one's a 20%.
in a ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this other one, like I said, has only been used on, animals.
Yeah.
So
do you want to be screwed or really screwed?
it kind of seems that way now.
Yeah.
But it's going to have a huge impact. So don't, listener, don't get don't be so sure that freezing someone is the way to go.
Yeah. And don't be so
Give them
sure
the
that
old
cleaning
Disney
out all
treatment.
your insides is the way to go. I mean, you never know.
Well, as he said, we'll gently be removing your innards and then
Gently-
scrubbing the crap out of them.
With a steel brush wool. Like,
Oh, that's awful.
So yeah,
That's
if
SOS.
you guys have any input on that, you go
I
right
want to vote,
along.
but I also don't want to vote.
Well, let's not do it on here. Let's do the voting on the
okay.
polls. We can vote.
Yeah,
on
we'll
the
put it
polls.
out on the socials, so be watching.
Yeah, we'll put it out on Facebook and Twitter, and then we'll combine the two polls.
Yeah, we'll do it for the whole week. Just like have a poll up, and then just share it every day.
Yeah.
Here I was worried that I had written too much.
Were you?
Yeah, no, I think we're good, man. That's interesting. I did not see this coming at all.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Good. Neither did the listeners, I assume.
Yeah, hopefully.
For whatever reason, I'm picturing like that episode of Supernatural when they had the wishing well and the teddy bear came to life, and I'm picturing that teddy bear sitting at I guess a rabbit just sitting at a bar, be like, what is it? Life is meaningless.
He shoots himself and
Yeah.
stuffing flies.
All this, he's like, God, why? He says nothing but like alcohol and porno mags.
Oh my gosh.
Why do I exist? For tea parties. Is that all there is? Tea parties? He's like having an existential crisis.